morning and welcome back to Fantasy Baseball Code Red on Enravio.com.
Did you order the Code Red?
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Hey, we're back again, wrapping up Week 10, heading into Week 11 in Fantasy Baseball. Good morning, General.
Good morning there, Admiral.
Morning, Admiral.
Commish, how are you today?
Doing good.
Beautiful day here on Long Island after torrential rains yesterday. I was actually building the ark and gathering the animals. We have a great day here today, June 8th, 2013. We're going to start off with the news. We've got the NL Player of the Month for May, Dominic Brown.
Dominic Brown having a great month of May. Had 12 home runs, 25 runs batted in, basically unconscious at the plate.
Guy just keeps hitting them and hitting them and hitting them.
Yep, he's second in the major leagues in home runs, right behind Chris Davis with 18. He's 290 for the year, and he's got 44 runs batted in.
I'll tell you, I mean, it's just, it's incredible. It's incredible. It looks like you look in the box score just about every day, and this guy hits one out.
He's not slacking off at all. He just can full steam ahead. The month of May, I don't think he walked once.
No, I don't think he, I think you're correct.
When guys don't walk for an entire month in the major leagues and they're hitting bombs like that, I don't know, why are they
You're locked
pitching?
in.
Why are they still pitching to him?
You're locked in, as they say. Patrick Corbin, National League Pitcher of the Month for May.
Another guy that put another good outing last night. You know, just when you think this guy's about ready to get bombed, he goes out last night, didn't get the win, 7 innings, no decision, 1 run.
5-0 in May.
You know, fantastic May. He's now 9-0, could very easily be 10-0. I don't know. I don't know where it's ending for this guy, if it is ending at all, because it seems like there's just no bad outing out there for him. The numbers say he will not finish the season like this, based on his history, but the reality says different. So,
I'll tell you, there haven't been many guys that have put up seasons like that. I'll tell you.
No, this is beyond belief. I mean, if I was going to take a guess right now, I'd say that ERA is going to jump from whatever it is now, 2.50 to like probably 350 before it's all over.
Now listen, he was 1.53 in May, so guy's just on fire. Miguel Cabrera, AL Player of the Month for May.
When does it stop? Does it?
All the guy did in May is bat 379, 12 home runs, 33 runs batted in, 23 runs scored in 28 games. He is on a pace. Are you ready for this? He's on a pace for 245 hits, 47 home runs, and 184 runs batted in.
Like you guys said last week, Ruthian numbers, right? It's crazy.
I tell you, man, you haven't seen numbers like that in quite some time. And this guy, Triple Crown candidate every year, it seems like.
And the thing is, it's kind of like going almost unnoticed at this point because of other things going on in Major League Baseball. We're witnessing one of the great performances of all time, but it's being overshadowed by 2 things. One of them
we're going to get into that.
One of them not so good.
Oh, we're going to get into that. I promise. Stick around for that. Jason Vargas, AL Pitcher of the Month for May. Guy had a great month. Came out of nowhere, 5-0, 2.30 ERA. What's up with that?
Well, he had a bit of a rocky start. Right now, I mean, he looks more like the pitcher we saw, I guess, last year when he, but earlier in the season, I wasn't really a believer. Now it seems like there's no stopping him either. So
I'm still not a believer on that one.
It's hard to be a believer.
Yeah. You know what? He's a guy you want to pick up and ride the wave for as long as you can.
He was probably a late round guy for most
if he
teams.
was drafted at all.
If he was drafted at all.
Right.
You got nothing to lose right now. You just
like
run
I said,
out there.
not a bad fill-in for some of the injuries we're seeing now.
Ride the wave. Ride the wave. Then we have kind of an interesting, funny story, I think. Chris Perez, Cleveland Indians closer, was out on the DL, and then got an interesting package in the mail that
apparently he needed something to spend the time with while he was on the DL.
We've got drug agents investigating alleged, we have to say, I guess, marijuana shipment mailed to his house.
Is that wrong?
Yeah.
Is that wrong to order marijuana and have
Could
it
be
sent
for medical
to
purposes,
Medical marijuana.
I think we have a picture of Chris Perez. Kind of looks like a guy that may break out the bong every now and then. I don't know.
Listen, he could have glaucoma, right? Advanced glaucoma at his young age is very possible.
Maybe anxiety, got to soothe the nerves a little bit.
Stock up on the Cheetos, Chris. You've got a couple of weeks. Stock up on the Cheetos. All right, listen, we're going to get into a segment right now that's captured the attention of just about everybody in baseball. it's going to go right into our cheater segment, which I kind of thought was going to be an occasional segment on the show, but it's looking like it's going to be something that we talk about a lot, especially in the near future. We've got the biogenesis scandal. The scandal, and I got to tell you, as a baseball fan, I am pissed off. I'm pissed off. You know, we got through a point where we thought Major League Baseball was at a point where they're starting to clean up the game a little bit. You know, we had the Mitchell report. You know, we had the Balco fiasco. We had the whole Bonds thing. We had everything that
Canseco, Clemens.
Clemens. We had A-Rod. We had it all, and we thought that we were kind of coming to the end of this, hopefully. And it seems not.
It's not over yet. And the only good thing, if there is such a good thing, the names they're regurgitating are the same guys that we've been talking about before. It's not like we have any, at least as far as we know right now, there's no new entrants into this fray. So at least we're talking about A-Rod, we're talking about Braun, we're talking about Cabrera.
Well, first of all, A-Rod, I got to tell you, is one of the biggest disappointments as a baseball fan, as a pure baseball fan, that I've had in probably in my life. I mean, here's a guy that I thought was just a truly talented stud, star player who they kind of projected to be the guy who was going to break the all-time home run record one day. And, you know, here we find out that his whole career has been a lie.
And by the way, he just hired Braun's agent, lawyer, actually. So
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing, too, Admiral, is that I think that when the smoke clears from this thing, I don't think anyone's getting suspended. And I don't think anything's going to happen because this is going to be the battle. This is going to be the war to end all wars. Because when these guys get lawyered up, and here's the thing, this guy Tony Bosch, you know, sounds like he should be a motivational speaker or something.
Well, let me tell you, have you seen?
This guy Tony Bosch, he has been hired by Major League Baseball.
He's not hired.
All right, let's put it this
not
way. I'll
hired.
rephrase that.
He's
He is
cooperating.
And he's being paid.
He's cooperating.
His
Now,
expenses
here's the
are being
deal
paid.
with this sleazebag, okay, who I saw an interview with recently. This
Friends with Matt Harvey, no
This
doubt.
guy's a piece of crap, okay? And here's the story with him. He tried unsuccessfully to extort money out of A-Rod before he decided he was going to cooperate with Major League Baseball. That tells you what kind of guy this guy is. Now, I'm telling you right now, Major League Baseball has a problem, and here's the problem. They have no hard evidence against these guys, okay? What they have is a failed drug test from Ryan Braun that he got away with, okay, on a technicality because it was improperly handled.
Yes.
not to mention ruined that guy's life. That actually the guy that picked up the sample. So.
Right.
The poor FedEx driver.
Now, here's the situation, though. You've got a witness, the star witness for Major League Baseball is Bosch, okay? This guy has zero credibility, zero. And unless he has hard evidence, okay, names, texts, emails, letters, pictures, something, okay, Selig's going to have a tough time suspending these guys. And he's looking for 100-game suspensions for Braun, for A-Rod. You know, we've got Melky Cabrera, we've got Nelson Cruz, we've got Johnny Peralta, Everett Cabrera, Cervelli. I mean, it's a laundry list of guys right now. It's a laundry list of guys, and this is going to be a very big story in the coming weeks.
I'm with you, Admiral. I'm so sick of this. I mean, we got so many good things going on in baseball. We got these young rookies coming up having great impact. We have Cabrera having the season of a lifetime, and here we are back again talking about this nonsense. It's just ridiculous.
And it is nonsense, and it makes you wonder as a baseball fan. You know, you see a season like Cabrera's having, okay, and you wonder, is it real?
Right.
Is it real? You know, or is this a situation? And you know, Cabrera's a guy that there have been whispers about with HGH and things like that. So you don't know.
There's
You
no
don't
doubt,
know.
cast a shadow of doubt over anything good that's happening.
And it does,
Right.
and to me, it really damages the credibility of the game because what happens is you know, baseball, you know, the character of the game and you know, what draws you to the game is, you know, the history of the game. And, you know, you look at guys, I mean, we had, from Babe Ruth through Roger Maris, we had two guys hit more than 60 home runs in a season, okay? Then in a 3-year period, we had Bonds, Sosa, and McGuire do it a combined 7 times.
Hell, I want to take a run at it.
Listen, stay tuned, folks. I mean, you know, this is a story that it's going to affect your fantasy team. It's going to affect baseball in general. But the last thing I have to say is I don't want any of these guys in the hall. None of them. I don't want any of them.
I'm with you.
I don't want.
I agree.
I don't want a cheater's wing. I don't want any of that. I want these guys who damage this sport to pay, and they do not belong in the Hall of Fame.
Well, here's my final comment on all of this. Major League Baseball does not practice what they preach. And you talk about the integrity of the game, the rules of the game, and everything else. Just like there's a sign in every clubhouse that says there's no gambling in baseball, there's signs about drug use and things like this. Well, there's a guy named Pete Rose who's been exiled out of this league for the better part of 20 plus years.
And rightfully so.
Well,
People will
But
disagree.
you want to know something? At the end of the day, when the smoke clears, why we have a guy banned for 20 plus years and all these other guys are running around with little 50-game suspensions or whatever, it doesn't make any sense. If you're going to have a rule and you're going to enforce the rule, enforce those rules, because to me, whether it's gambling on baseball or drug use to enhance your baseball, these are all the same types of infractions, yet we're turning it into, 100-game and 50-game suspensions, and it never goes
and
away.
I agree with you, but the thing about Rose was he committed a crime against the sport. He bet on the sport while he was still involved in it, okay? And when Giamatti gave him an opportunity to come clean and just admit the truth, he didn't do it. And you want to know what? If he would have went to the public
probably
and
would have went
apologized,
differently.
he'd be in the Hall of Fame right
But
now.
that's the arrogance of all these players. Even
It is.
in
It's
our
arrogance.
generation, the only one that I can think of that's actually come clean is Andy Pettit. And actually
Right.
said, listen,
Right.
hey,
And
I did.
Giambi.
And Giambi.
And
A couple
Giambi,
of guys
right.
have tried to do the right thing.
But
Absolutely.
90% of them, they vehemently, especially Clemens, he vehemently denies it with an arrogant way that's
Yeah.
just incredible.
Yeah. Well, Rafael Palmeiro did it. Sosa did it. A lot of these guys arrogantly. Ryan Braun,
Right, another one, right?
another one. He's going to look in the camera and he's going to say, not me. I didn't do it.
You're right.
Yeah, guess what?
It's tough.
Enjoy your suspension, pal, because I hope you get one. All right, listen, we're going to head into a break, but before we do, a couple of messages. The Farmingville Residents Association is holding their next flea market on Sunday, September 8th from 10 to 4 on the lawn of Pat's Tattoos.
Fantastic.
Setup time is 9 a.m. The rain date will be 9:15, same place, same time. Our early bird special for vendors. Purchase a spot and send in your application by July 4th, and spots are just $30. One other quick thing, we've got a giveaway again on Enravio. Psychedelic furs, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, psychedelic
All
furs at the
right.
Paramount in Huntington.
Pretty in pink.
Friday, June 21st, 8 p.m. And Ravio's got your tickets. Click on the Win Now link right on the homepage and enter to win. Chris, go to break. All right, we're going to be back in a couple of minutes with our Man Crush segment, so stick around for that.
You're going to want to see this one.
Enravio.com.
This is Brian Gallo, and you should tune in to Backwater Alternative Radio 7 to 9 Saturday nights on Enravio.com.
Back to the music in 60 seconds.
East End Screen Printing and Embroidery. Shirts for as low as $3 with print. 631-281-TEES. That's 631-281-TEES. 1355F Montauk Highway, Mastic, Long Island, New York. Go to eastendsilkscreenprinting.com for more info. Glitz and Glam Boutique. Book your little princess's party today. Glamorous birthday parties. Girls' Day out packages. Hair accessories and jewelry. 5A Canal Street, Center Moriches, Long Island, New York. Phone 631-909-7428. Riches Bay Realty, celebrating 50 years. If you're selling or listing your home, land, or business, call Moriches Bay Realty of Moriches, Long Island, New York. Contact Jerry at 631-878-0003 or go to MorichesBayRealty.com for more info. Stay in Tune Guitar Strings. guitar strings, bass strings, polish, and accessories. Stay in Tune Guitar Strings, Akron, Ohio. www.sitstrings.com.
Okay, Village Music Shop of Mastic. It's your one-stop source for all of your musical equipment, rentals, repairs, and accessories. They also do lessons, and I'll tell you, as a musician, this place rocks. Want to learn how to play like a pro? They've taught over 100,000 lessons here. So give them a call today, 874-8425, the Village Music Shop of Mastic. All right, guys, we're going to get into another new segment. We've got the Man Crush segment, okay? And we've kind of focused recently on my man crush, Matt Harvey, but we have a new one this week. We've got a guy that's creating a sensation out in L.A., and I got to tell you, gee, once in a while we catch you napping. Not often. Once in a while.
Catch me napping?
Listen, once in a while you've been known to take a little siesta. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not at all.
But I have to give you props on this one, okay? We've got a guy here that has been on this story since the draft, basically. And we've got Yasiel Puig out in L.A., and you weren't sleeping on this one, I got to tell you.
We want to pronounce that Puig.
Puig.
Sounds better.
Did I say Puig?
Yeah, we want
I'm so
Puig.
sorry, it's Puig. And so let's get into our Man Crush segment and talk about Mr. Puig.
Well, listen. You saying I have a man crush on him?
No, you have a man crush, my
Well,
friend.
listen, I don't have a man crush on him.
Oh,
Just
what do you got, props? What do you got down
Just
there?
because
Oh.
I have a picture of his son when my friends get home. I took the wedding picture down.
My wife would never allow that.
And got my sunglasses on. You want to know why I got my sunglasses on? Because we're out in L.A. The future's so bright, I got to wear shades.
The Hollywood Dodgers.
This team was dead and buried. Done, over with. On March 25th, I drafted this guy, 19th round in our league, and it's been no turning back. Sure, he didn't play for 2 months, but it didn't matter. I knew. General Damas made the prediction that you would see Mr. Puig, and he came up, and he's unbelievable. Unreal.
I'll tell you, he's more than unbelievable. I mean, I got to tell you, this week, they called him up. His first game was on June 3rd. Okay, 2 hits, and then happens to throw a guy out from the right field fence at first base to end the game.
Why not?
Why not? Next day, 3 for 4, 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. Okay? June 5th, he takes a little siesta, goes 0 for 4. We're okay with that. Everybody's okay with a little nap once in a while. Okay? Next day he comes back, 2 for 4, grand slam. And then he homers again last night.
Now, wait a second. He homered last night in a very tight ball game, which I think it tied the game.
Yeah, tied the game.
Homered.
I think he hit it in the 6th inning to tie the game.
He came up in the, was it the 8th or the 9th, Greggy, when he came up and got pinch hit for?
8th, I think it was.
In the 8th inning. So he comes up again in the 8th inning, and he gets gets walked intentionally, right? He's 5 games in the major leagues, and he is walked intentionally because they didn't want to pitch to him, which was a great move because Mark Ellis is on deck, and he promptly grounded out. With Puig running, I might add. He was running on the pitch, so just a phenomenal start, incredible beginning to a guy's career. He's only the second player in the last 120 years, second player in the last 113 years, only the second player to have 4 homers after 5 games.
Yeah, there's no doubt that Major League Baseball pitchers have a Cuban Missile Crisis on their hands right now. This guy he's basically taking the Dodgers on his back. I mean, so the Dodgers have scored, I think, 20 runs in their last 5 games. He's driven in 10 of them.
I mean, this guy lit the town on fire. And I have to say, we were wrong. The commission and I were wrong because the reports that we had was that it was going to be Jock Peterson that came up and not Puig. And the reason for that was that Peterson is a true center fielder. Well, let me tell you something. General, I have to give you props. I mean, you're a guy that's been on this show calling for Puig, advocating for Puig, telling people to pick this guy up. And, this guy has come up and done a phenomenal job.
I'll be calling for someone else later on in the show. General Damas, stay tuned.
All right, let's get into who's hot and who's not. A couple of guys we talked about already. Dominic Brown continues to rip it up. 444 last week, 5 home runs, 12 runs batted in, and 3 stolen bases. So he ended May as the player of the month, and he picked right back up. And You know,
Hasn't
here he
missed a
goes
beat,
again.
yep.
You know. Prince Fielder, 435 for the week, 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in. This guy was on our not hot list last week, so he's turning it around.
Yeah, he's off and running now, and you would expect that at this point from him. He doesn't usually go into long droughts, so
Yeah.
not surprised.
Yeah. Adrian Beltre, 563 this week, 3 home runs.
Yeah, he's a guy who, when he gets hot, he really gets hot. You know,
He
so
does. Streaky hitter and big second half guy throughout his career. So
Yes.
you know, I think he's going to have a monster second half. J.J. Hardy, 3 home runs this week. Probably out there on a few
I just picked him up
on a few
actually.
waiver wires.
One of my other leagues. He gives you a lot of pop at the shortstop. Not too much average, but he'll drive in some runs for you and give you some home runs.
Yeah. Everett Cabrera, San Diego shortstop. We talked about him earlier on the biogenesis thing, but stole 7 bases last week. Does that make you run faster?
Sure, why not?
PEDs?
Hey, why not? And that's not caffeine.
All right. Bartolo Colon, another guy on the list.
The Toad.
Listen, when you get to his age with his belly, you got to take something. Listen, here's the new rule. You guys
He's like
want,
the Stay Puft
yeah,
Marshmallow
you
Man,
guys
for
want-
God's sake.
You should say, here's what we're going to do, fellas. When you reach 35, everyone can go on roids. Up until 35, we want legit baseball.
Well, he gets the Chili Davis Award for the week and goes 2-0 with a 0.56 ERA, 0.94 WHIP. Hisashi Iwakuma,
I'll take 2 orders of that, please.
2 orders of that. Chopsticks, please. No runs over his last 15 2/3.
This guy's the best kept secret in baseball. Probably one of the most consistent pitchers, beginning with the second half of last year, all the way through where we are today. Totally unsung. No one even knows who he is. Out in Seattle, doesn't get done with his games till 2 o'clock in the morning. This guy's a great pitcher. Not going to get a lot of wins, but everything else will be there.
Yeah. Julio Tehran. This is a guy that we've been talking about for a couple of weeks, folks. You had your opportunity to jump on him. If you did, good for you. If you didn't, you probably missed the chance. Last week, 1-1, 1.84 ERA, 0.75 WHIP, 20 strikeouts, 14 2/3 innings.
He's been lights out, man. I'm wishing I would have picked him up when he was dropped in our league.
You know,
I could use it.
Guy had a tremendous spring. Started off the season a little slowly, but has really come on.
Fantastic.
Really come on.
General Damas drafted him. And I sat on
And dropped him.
I sat there and I watched him for several weeks get bombed every week. He didn't start slow, he was getting bombed. And I made a decision. I was like, you know what, he's not ready yet either. And I should have kept him, but we move on.
How about Jacob Turner down in Miami?
I don't have a whole lot of faith in him.
I'm not sure that I do either, but 1-0 last week, 0.69 ERA, 1.08 WHIP. He's a guy you might want to pick up.
For now, sure.
Guy made the Mets look like, or the Mets made him look like Cy Young because he pitched a great game against them. A couple of good starts in a row. Might be a guy you want to take a chance on.
Yeah, he's on the Marlins prospect list, but like you guys, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in him. Maybe good for fill-in for a little while while he's hot.
His star was rising a couple of years ago. I think it's fading a little bit now, but he's young enough we can try to recover that.
Yeah. Not hot. Ryan Braun.
Ryan Braun's going to have a lot of it's going to get real hot for Ryan Braun real quick.
But you know what? It seems that he went cold when the biogenesis thing blew up.
But then he took a game off.
Well,
One game off for supposedly a sore thumb.
Yeah, well, this is his second week in a row that he's on our not hot list.
Had a huge hit last night, which ended up being the key hit to him win the game. So.
Yeah, well, he was 5 for 23 before that. Robinson Cano, 3 for his last 23. Another guy that's been mentioned in the biogenesis thing, but
indirectly.
Indirectly, I don't think he's going to be a guy targeted for suspension.
His assistant actually was involved in purchasing weight loss products. Like there aren't enough of them here in New York, you have to go to Florida to get them. We'll follow that one.
And my brother in ponytails, Andrew McCutcheon, 4 for his last 18.
I don't know what's going on with
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, listen, you know what? A little slump, he'll break out of it. He'll be fine.
You know he'll come back. So.
Yeah. Joey Votto, 3 for 23.
That's a baby slump for him.
Baby slump.
Yeah.
Jose Bautista, 2 for 26.
Joey Bats, come back to us.
Joey Bats, he's stole a couple of bases though this week.
Do something.
Cole Hamels, 1 for 1-1 this
The
week.
nightmare continues.
This is the one. This is the one. Mr. Hamels, although he had a good outing last time out, I believe.
5.25 ERA last week, 1.42.
This is a tough one for Philly fans and fantasy owners of Mr. Hamels because this
He
is
signed a big contract.
big contract and he's going nowhere fast. So
Although he is really close to the top of the list in terms of lack of run support. So, I think he's a guy that'll turn it around. And then we have Ian Kennedy with a putrid week.
You feast or famine with this guy.
1-1 this week, 11.45 ERA, 1.73 WHIP, stellar week.
Hell, we can go out there and throw an 11-run ERA.
Give me a shot at it.
Yeah.
All right. A couple of minutes before a break, want to remind you guys that we're taking phone calls, 855-446-7284. That's 855-446-7284. We'll take your calls about anything you want to talk about. You can also log in on our chat box and leave your comments up there. Also, want to mention again, Farmingville Residents Association is having their next flea market on Sunday, September 8th, 2013, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on the lawn of Pat's Tattoos. So you can go to the flea market and you can get a tattoo.
Maybe they have Hazel Puig tattoos.
Or Matt Harvey tattoos.
Matt Harvey. Listen, I may get the Mr. Matt tattoo. I maybe will. I think my wife will let me get away with that one. Anyway, setup time is 9 o'clock. Rain date 9:15. Early bird special for vendors. Purchase a spot by July 4th, and you'll get in for $30. Also, want to tell you again about the Village Music Shop of Mastic, your one-stop source for all of your musical instruments, rentals, repairs, accessories, lessons. Call them today, 874-8425. Chris, let's go to a break, and we'll come back with some phone calls.
Yeah, we got some.
InRavio.com.
And now, back to the music on InRavio.com.
Putting it off and start painting it up today at Ben's Paint Station, featuring Benjamin Moore paints, Sickens, wood finishes, paints, and professional paint supplies, ideal for contractors and homeowners, stain paints and epoxies, family owned and operating, in business for over 55 years, professional and experienced help, located at 2 locations, 55B Route 25, Coram, Long Island, New York, and 1495 Plaza Montauk Highway, Mastic, New York. Call them at 775-7435 and 775-8135. Ben's Paint Station, featuring Benjamin Moore Paints. Log on to the Enravio advertisers page today.
Good Times Magazine, New York's best entertainment paper for 43 years. Check out their calendar for all the latest music info, including New York City, Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk. Studio News brings you the biggest news about the hottest artists and sounds. Technobeat is your guide to electronica, techno, house, and dubstep. Packtrack keeps you up to date on the biggest events at the area's performing arts centers and theaters. Good Times Magazine gives you all this and more. It's bi-weekly and it's free. Pick up your copy today or visit goodtimesmag.com.
Hey guys, it's Christine from Backwater. Tune in every Saturday night from 7 to 9 for music history, musicians' birthday blocks, trivia time, and the best alternative music around. Saturdays at 7, only on radio.com, broadcasting to the world.
Okay, welcome back. We want to take you out on the road. We've got Jamie, one of our interns, out at the Santa Mauritius Street Fair. Jamie's got the van, and she's live. How you doing, Jamie?
Hi, how are you?
We're doing well. What's going on out there?
Everything is great out here. This is
Nice
Jamie
day
here
to be out on the
Radio.
streets.
We're in the van. We're in number 74, and we are in Santa Mauritius at the street fair right now. So look for us because we have some really cool ticket contests that you can enter. You want to see Rick Springfield at the Paramount Theater in Huntington. We also have some tickets to see Pat Benatar and the Psychedelic Furs. So
Nice.
look for us, and you can enter to win here at the street fair in Santa Mauritius.
What's going on at the fair?
It's really cool. We actually just got here. There's a bunch of people everywhere. It's kind of chaotic. There's a lot of different booths and stuff, but I'm seeing some vendors selling things, some funnel cake. Honestly, it's really cool.
Can you bring back some funnel cakes?
Yeah, right? I'll bring you guys back some.
Great, great. And you got a great weather day, huh? Not like yesterday.
Yeah, it's actually really nice. It's not too hot, so it's enjoyable. I'm really liking this.
At least we don't have torrential downpours. All right, well, listen, thanks for checking in. Folks, if you're out on the road, visit Jamie, the lovely Jamie, out at the Santa Mauritius Street Fair. What time are you there until, Jamie?
We're going to be here for about an hour. We'll be hanging out. I have on a long orange maxi skirt, and my girl Taylor has a little blue skirt. So look for us. We'll be bopping around. We got sunglasses on and clipboards.
All right, look for them. Look for the Enravio van and get out there, folks.
All right?
All right, Jamie, thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right, folks, right back into it. We're going to hit the waiver wire. Interesting pickup possibilities this week. If you had Puig on your radar, you're too late.
Day late, dollar short.
Day late, dollar short. A couple other guys out there that you may want to take a look at. Matt Joyce, probably kind of under the radar a little bit. Listen, he's having a halfway decent year. He hit 299 in May.
I had him at the beginning of the year. I ended up dropping him because he was slumping there a little bit, but he's pretty solid if you look at him. You know, his past performance. You know, you're not going to get huge numbers out of him, but consistent.
Here we are.
You know?
We're a third of the way through the season.
Yeah.
He's got 10 home runs, 26 runs batted in.
Can't argue with that.
4 steals. Worth a pickup, G.
I guess so. I'm not all that revved up about him. I think there's some other guys out there that might be better.
Okay, well, here's one that I would consider. You know, I have to say, the catcher position this year has been a little weird. You know, you've got guys like Miguel Montero, who are just having horrible years. Juan Castro for the Astros.
Yeah.
Okay. 272 so far this year, 8 home runs, 19 runs batted in, a couple stolen bases. Worth a pickup?
I would pick him up.
Yeah, he's definitely worth a pickup. He's actually doing now what they expected a couple of years ago when they got him. And it's funny. Aside from him, not on our list, and I just thought of him, is the guy in Philly, Eric Kratz.
Yeah,
another one.
Homered again last night. I mean,
when does Ruiz do back?
Well, that's the thing. He's probably a couple weeks, whatever it is. But he will. It could be a short window there. But hey, at that position, take whatever you can get and run with it.
Yeah, no, Kratz is doing a pretty good job.
He is.
Anthony Rendon. You know, they brought him up and kind of stuck him in at second base with Espinosa being out, so hasn't done much yet, but might be worth a flyer.
No, definitely worth it, right? Top prospect, and Espinosa has been struggling with that hand. He's been well under the Mendoza line for months now.
Yeah, not
so
having a good year anyway.
See,
he's going to be out for a while.
He's one of those guys. I'm usually one of those ones that wants guys up in the majors as quickly as possible.
Right.
I have a feeling that Rendon is not ready. If you look at his career, he has been rushed at every single level he's been at. He has never settled in at any of these levels, and now he's in the majors. Granted, phenomenal college career, everything else, but it just, I don't know, it's getting that feeling like he's being pushed a little bit right now. Now you're asking him to play a new position.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot to ask for a guy.
But you know what? You have to remember the team that he's on. I mean, this is a team that does that with their prospects. They don't keep them.
I'm okay with it. I mean, with Bryce Harper, I was okay with it.
Harper came up at
Strasburg,
19.
But that I was okay with because I felt he had the makeup and the acumen to do it. But I just, with Rendon, it just seems like it's a real push to get him.
Listen, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's what they do. I mean, they did it with Strasburg. They didn't waste any time with him.
I mean, they're not scared at all. That's why I give them credit for that, if nothing else.
Yeah, and you know, this is a team that's expected to contend.
And they need help.
And they need help, so you know, good for them for bringing them up.
And Davey Johnson has no problem playing these guys either.
It's obvious,
He's right there.
And he's the right guy to nurture a young player. You know, I saw him do it back with the Mets when, you know, when they had, you know, Doc Gooden and they had
Bachman and Dykstra, right?
And Dykstra, and you know, he really kept those guys together and did a great job with the young players. So, you know, he's a guy. You know, if you're going to try to do that, he's probably the right manager to do it with. Adam Lind, hitting .329 this year for Toronto, might be worth. You know, if you're looking for a little bat, you know, a little depth maybe.
Give you a little pop.
A little pop, a little average.
I don't like him.
I don't like him either.
I don't either. That's why I dropped him.
But the guy's hitting .329.
I would go with Kyle Blanks. I go with Kyle Blanks right now before I go with him. He's hit red hot right now, 10 for 24, 2 homers, 6 RBIs last 7 games, and he's playing every day pretty much.
Yeah, he's actually lucked out
last night
because Cameron Maben just came back, and there's a guy to go pick up.
And Yonder Alonso went down.
And
so the first base spot is open.
Blanks was on the slate to go back home
Maybe might be a
to
guy,
AAA.
to pick up. He just got back. And then we've got Colby Rasmus. A guy we kind of joked about a little bit last week, but maybe...
he's got good numbers, except for the average. I'm surprised nobody... He's sitting in our league, actually. Nobody's picked him up.
He's got 9 home runs.
Because we all know.
Yeah.
We all know where it's going.
He's got 9 home runs, 27 runs batted in. I got to tell you, with this whole scandal, there are going to be players, Melky Cabrera, who knows what's going to happen. These guys might wind up getting suspended sooner than later. Right. So you may need a Colby Rasmus. You may need, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with these guys? A couple of pitches, Jeff Locke.
He has unlocked the key to success. Listen, I mean, he's been actually pitched well for a while now. The last 21 innings, I guess, have been pretty good. But I'm not really a full believer yet, although we're at a point now where he's pitched enough innings. We're in June. He seems like a solid play. Good fourth guy, third, fourth guy.
2.45 ERA, 1.19 WHIP on the season. So
in the National League.
We've been talking a lot about these Pittsburgh pitchers, and I don't know if you guys saw the other night, Liriano again. 7 innings, strong innings out of him.
Finally,
I think he walked 5 in that game, but still, he only gave up 2 hits.
2 hits. Yep.
So he's, that whole staff. I know Rodriguez is actually out on the DL, but Burnett's been doing it all year.
And they're going to get Cole up this week,
And if
too.
you haven't picked up Garrett Cole, pick him up.
on.
He's pitching Tuesday. He's available in most Yahoo leagues. He's pitching Tuesday. He's coming off back-to-back shutouts in AAA, not AA, AAA.
Yeah.
So.
And then we have over in Cincinnati, Mike Leake.
Yep. He's been unbelievable this year. Unbelievable. I think when he first came up, he came right out of college and into the majors, right?
He was a high draft pick. I think a number 1 pick.
He was, and then he has kind of a little bit of an up and down there with Cincinnati, but he's really matured into this season's been his breakout season.
Last year was ugly. 4.58 ERA, 1.35 WHIP. The thing about him though last year is that the numbers were kind of ugly overall, but if you look a little bit deeper, guy didn't have that bad a season. I mean, he had 30 starts last year, allowed 2 or fewer runs in 13 of those starts, 3 or fewer runs in 19. So. Maybe the numbers were a little deceiving last year on him, but, he was a former top 10 pick, 8th pick overall in 2009. He's 5-2 right now with a 1.91 ERA, 1.2 WHIP. So, I think he's for real.
I think that we forget with a lot of these guys, and we're just so conditioned to we want instant results, but I don't know how old Leake is. I'm going to say he's 24. I don't know how
he's
old
young.
he is.
He's, I think he's 23, 24.
We're looking for these guys to produce immediate results at age 20 and 21, which is unheard of 15, 20 years ago. But we're looking for it now. A guy like Jordan Lyles right now is out there pitching lights out. Last 19 innings, he's got a 2.29 ERA, 1-0. You say Jordan Lyles, he stinks. He's had a 5 ERA the last couple of years. Yeah, he's 22 years old. Right. By rights, he shouldn't even be in the majors. Right. So some of these guys are maturing before your very eyes.
And here's the deal: you don't know what you're going to get. Because with
taking a chance.
Well, you're taking a chance. You look back at some of the players in the past that came up at really young ages. You look at Doc Gooden. A guy came out and was amazing for those first couple of years. Then you look at a guy like Greg Jeffries, who was supposed to be the next super stud for the Mets, and broke out of the gates, like wildfire, but then, had a so-so career at best. So you really don't know what you're going to get with some of these guys. You look at some of the young guys that have been called up recently. Bryce Harper, who had a great year last year, was off to a great start this year, got hurt. Trout's another one that came up very young. So you don't know what you're going to get, but. And then you always, from a fantasy perspective, you've always got the sophomore jinx, which seems to happen to a lot of these guys. They come up and have big years in their first year, and then, Jason Hayward, guys like that, and then, year 3, year 4 really start to blossom. So, it's a mixed bag with some of these young guys. Then you've got Rex Brothers filling in for Rafael Betancourt out in Colorado, who hit the DL.
He's been close to perfect this season.
Yeah.
So he filling in, great arm out of the bullpen now if you need some saves.
And when you're filling in for a guy like Betancourt, it's not like you can't unseat him. So it's not like he's going to. You never know what's going to happen. So if you have him, I'd hold on to him and see how it plays out.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened in Boston with Bailey. I mean, Hanrahan was the guy. Right. He winds up getting hurt, and Bailey's the guy.
The thing I love about him, too, is one of the things I look at when I look at these pictures is the K to base on balls ratio, and he's got a 20-6 right now. So that's always a good indicator.
That's a great indicator for a closer because, you know, you don't want a guy that can walk the park and blow up because he's a guy that'll, you know, he'll pitch well for a while, Fernando Rodney, pitch well for a while, and then he will implode, and he will be buried under a mountain of walks, and that's the quickest ticket to losing your job as a closer.
Not a doubt.
All right. We wrapped up Week 10. Let's get into Week 11 a little bit and take a look at what's going on around the league. Some guys you might want to...
Admiral?
Oh, hold on.
General Damas has to make an announcement. We would be remiss at this point if we didn't mention, if you have not picked up George Springer in the Houston farm system, you should.
Just promoted, I think, to Double-A?
No, he's been in Double-A the whole season.
He's been in Double-A, okay.
You're thinking of Singleton.
I'm thinking of
Singleton is working his way back through the system. But George Springer, 308 average, 17 homers, 48 RBI, 17 steals. Houston really has no outfielders. This guy should be up. And I would think probably in the next week or so. You haven't heard a word about it. There's nothing posted anywhere about Springer. But worthy of a flyer.
As we've said on the show many times, Houston, we have a problem.
There's a problem. And Singleton, too, for that matter.
Code Red Houston. I mean, you know, here's a guy that there's a clear pathway to the majors. So
keep an eye on that. If you have, it's worth a pickup, and you wait a couple of weeks and see if he makes it.
I'll give you one more, too, that might be out there in some leagues is Tony Cingrani. Right?
Because
Johnny Cueto.
Guys might have dropped him back.
Right, might have dropped him. Johnny Cueto's hurt again. He's coming up this week to start. Another guy, 41-9 K to base on ball ratio.
Yeah, he's a guy that actually, when they sent him back down, I saw him drop in a lot of leagues. And
we were hoping the General was going to drop him.
I made that mistake
I was waiting
once.
to pick him off.
I made that mistake once with Tehran. I wasn't going to do it again.
Yeah, I actually traded for Cingrani in a league where, you know, I think it was a situation where the guy just wanted to drop him, but figured, let me throw it out there and see if I can get a late pick. I gave up a 16th round pick to get Tony Cingrani. And I figured, you know what?
I don't think that's bad.
It's not bad. Yeah. It's not bad because you know what? I wasn't going to get him if he hit the waiver wire.
Right.
So I figured I'll throw in the 16. I'll get him. I'll throw him on my
it's a good deal.
on my
Good
taxi
move.
squad. And
you get to keep him too? Is it roll over? Oh, even better. That's a great move then.
Yeah. So anyway, so back to Week 11. We've got a couple of two-star pitchers. If you're in a league that's a weekly league and you have to set your lineup now. A couple of guys you want to throw in there. Julio Tehran, we talked about him. Got two great starts coming up this week at San Diego against Andrew Kashner, and then again against San Francisco at home against Tim Lincecum. So get him in your lineup. Matt Garza, a guy that we've talked about and had mixed reviews on.
Struggling.
Not struggling. He's doing a decent job. Get him in there this week against Cincinnati at home and on the road against the New York Mets. Good start this week. Going up against Jeremy Hefner, who's another guy that we should have mentioned on the waiver wire.
He's
Pick
out
him
there.
up. Him and Dylan G, if those guys are out there, pitching very well in anticipation of one Zach Wheeler coming up. You know, it's funny how that'll light a fire under somebody's ass.
And G's been striking out guys at a crazy rate all of a sudden.
Out guys. Even Hefner's been striking out guys. You know? So it's amazing what a little motivation will do for you. Doug Fister, a couple of good starts this week against Kansas City and against Minnesota, both games at home. Clayton Kershaw, you're going to start this guy anyway, but he's got a couple of really good starts this week against Arizona at home and at Pittsburgh. Ricky Nolasco, another guy that's been pitching well.
Right. You know who I like this week too is Derek Holland. He's got Kazmir in Cleveland and he's got Dickey in Toronto.
Yeah.
And then I'll also give you Fister. He's got Casey and Guthrie and Minnesota and Walters.
Yeah.
Those should be two double solid starts there. 4 wins in the week for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other guys I would think about is Dylan Axelrod has got Toronto and Houston, and Dallas Keuchel has got Seattle and the White Sox. All 4 of those teams struggle, so those 2 guys might be available and could be good for you. So
yeah, Cologne 2 starts this week against the Yankees in Seattle. Jeff Locke 2 starts this week against San Francisco and Lincecum and the Dodgers. Cashner 2 starts this week. Shelby Miller, Iwakuma, both of those guys, Iwakuma rather, with a couple of pretty good starts this week. So before we get to wrapping up the show, we have a phone call. We've got Krusty from Copeg on the line.
Krusty from Copeg, I love it. Oh, he's from Comac.
Oh,
Krusty,
Comac.
He moves around,
Krusty?
He moves around, Krusty does.
I thought you were from Copeg last time you called in. How you doing, Krusty?
I live in a trailer park.
You keep moving around.
Yeah. Is this the Loud and Queer show?
No, this is not the Loud and Queer show. That's on the. It's on this network at another time.
He would like to star on that show.
Hey, listen, not that there's
With Matt Harvey.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
And Anna V.
I'll do the Anna V show. What do you got going on today, Krusty?
How you doing, guys? Wanted to talk about the trade that was made in one of the leagues I'm in. It was Miguel Cabrera for Patrick Corbin, Greinke, and Machado. What do you guys think of that trade?
You know what? That was a league or trade rather in our league, and we might as well have full disclosure here and let you know that Krusty is in one of our leagues. But here's what happened with that trade. You're right. It was Miguel Cabrera going to somebody, a high-profile member of our league. I won't mention a name. I'll just look and whistle again.
General Damas.
General Damas, getting Miguel Cabrera. For the three aforementioned players, we've got
and draft picks. Don't forget.
Well, I'm going to get to that. You know, we didn't know about the draft picks up front. We thought it was a 3-for-1 trade with Manny Machado, Zach Greinke, and Bartolo Colonoscopy. And it turns out that I kind of thought that might be a pretty fair trade. You know, the guy getting him is a younger, more vulnerable member of our league. But
hold on. He was getting Corbin and Greinke.
Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, not colonoscopy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He was getting a guy who's 9-0 and a guy who's a legitimate pitcher in this league.
Which to me was
you throw Cologne into this mix and it sounds like a rape.
It was Corbin. It was Corbin, and it was Manny Machado
and Manny Machado.
Okay, not a bad trade. But here's the kicker: is that the General also gave up a second-round draft pick for next year, and got in return, I think, an
ninth round pick.
Okay, so I got to tell you, I think that's a pretty fair deal. You're taking your shot for this year. You're getting the best hitter in baseball.
Well, I mean, here's the bottom line for me. I believe, and I think the commissioner agrees, that I think that right now where we're at with most leagues is it's easier to find pitching than it is to find hitting. That's where we're at. These teams are bringing up guys left and right. Guys go on 5 or 6 game tears where they do well. So the way I'm looking at it is that I gave up, 2 good pitchers. It's a wash. It's not even a wash with Machado. I have a major upgrade at third base. So in terms of the players, I think I can get enough out of my remaining pitchers and pick up what I need to kind of offset the loss of Corbin and Greinke, which, by the way, Corbin is due to come down a little bit. Greinke's due to go up a little bit. So that could wash itself out a little bit there. So the picks to me, I mean, the second-round pick, I didn't want to give a pick up, but okay. The way I look at the draft and the way I look at the guys I got late this year, I feel comfortable giving up a pick like that I can recover next year without that pick. And who's to say I can't get another pick in a later round anyway, in a future trade? I have 1 trade left in our league.
Now let's get Krusty's opinion on this trade. Do you have an opinion, Krusty?
Yeah, I actually thought it was the General didn't even have to include the pick. I would have been fine with the trade.
Yeah, I have to say, I kind of felt the same way coming out. I was actually consulted by young newbie on the trade before it happened. He didn't tell me about the picks. And I said, you know what? You're giving up the best hitter in baseball, but you plug in 3 holes, you're in contention. Might not be a bad deal to make. Then I found out about the picks, and I have to tell you, G, I think that's going to come back and bite you next year because you gave up a second-rounder next year. So,
the way I draft, it's no big deal. I got guys right now I got later than 17 and 18 that are better than everyone in the league. So.
All right, the draft guru. All right, listen, Krusty, thanks for the call. Hope to hear from you again. And we're going to wrap it up here, guys. But before we do, we have a little man crush video that we want to play for you right now. That we should.
I love L.A.
we should have actually played in the man crush segment. We neglected to do that. So we're going to take out of the show with that. We've got our Man Crush Yezel Puig video. Let her rip. Let her roll.
This is for you, Yezel. I profess my love for you. 22-year-old tall Cuban man.
RBIs for him tonight. Dodgers now lead with a 3-run inning, 9-6. They want him to take a curtain call.